In global markets right now, Venezuela is proving a harsh lesson. If your money can be turned off by political events, then it's not wealth, it's a liability. None of this is financial advice, but let's dive into this. Over the past week, dramatic events have unfolded in Venezuela's political and economic landscape. Following the capture of their president, Maduro, by US forces and broader geopolitical pressure, their currency continues to lose value rapidly, with unofficial exchange rates spiking hundreds of % against the dollar. Crypto adoption, especially stablecoins like USDT, has surged as citizens turn to digital assets as a lifeline amidst hyperinflation. Now, these aren't isolated stories. This is a real economic collapse in motion, with everyday people seeking alternatives as traditional currency loses meaning. Guys, if you're looking to grow your social media, you should definitely be using SMM Go, the sponsor of this video. These guys provide real views, real services, and they have a fantastic support system as well. And to be honest, guys, every YouTuber that gets big starts out using an SMM service, and this is how you can turn your social media into an absolute rocket ship. So don't just take my word for it. Head to smmgo.io today and change your socials for the better with real likes, real views, and real growth across the board. Check it out in the description, and let's get back to the video. Now, why does this matter to the markets? When a crisis like this hits, it ripples through global markets. Emerging market stress feeds into Forex volatility, safe haven flows, and risk sentiment across asset classes. Traders often shift capital towards perceived safety, things like the USD, JPY, and gold, as inflation and capital flight intensify. Crypto markets aren't immune either. Bitcoin's prices have been reacting to these headlines with rallies following geopolitical shocks and structural adoption narratives. The bigger picture, markets don't care about local borders. They respond to risk, policy, currency collapse, and capital reallocation across the entire ecosystem. Now, the crypto impact here is pretty straightforward. Venezuela's crisis also highlights a provocative question for crypto holders everywhere. What is a good decentralized asset if connectivity and access are compromised by political or economic pressure? Even though cryptocurrencies are decentralized, real-world access depends on infrastructure you can actually reach. Still, in places where the local currency collapses, people often turn to Bitcoin and stablecoins as a way to preserve value and transact when fiat fails. That's why adoption has surged. Stablecoins are used for daily transactions, payroll, and even informal commerce. But what about Forex and risk sentiment? When stress hits one country's currency, Forex markets often shift instantly. A collapsing currency pushes traders into major currency pairs, adjusting exposure in USD, Euro, and Yen as they anticipate broader risk-off behavior. That's why macro can matter more than price patterns on a chart alone. It tells you why markets move. In times like this, risk-on versus risk-off sentiment becomes a core framework. In risk-off environments, traders reposition towards liquidity and stability rather than speculation. Now, we can see this hyperinflation right here for the Venezuelan currency versus the USD. As we can see, it's definitely going crazy right now. But smart traders don't just watch price charts, they watch macro conditions. Economic collapse, sanction pressure, hyperinflation, and financial dislocation are signals that move multiple markets at once. Forex, commodities, crypto, equities, they're all interconnected in a way. Traders who anticipate shifts instead of reacting after the fact always have the edge. Now, that's why when I'm trading, I use PU Prime, because they basically just give you access to all of these different markets, so you don't have to switch between tabs or anything like that. So when events like this hit, what you really need isn't a single asset, it's access to multiple markets and reliable execution. You want deep liquidity, tight execution in volatility, multi-asset access from one platform, and real-time pricing across Forex, crypto, metals, and indices. That's exactly why I use PU Prime, and it lets me trade Forex pairs, crypto CFDs, indices, and commodities all from the same place. without jumping between apps. When macro events like Venezuela's crisis cause interconnected moves across markets, I don't want to be stuck switching platforms. With PU Prime, I can monitor risk sentiment and positions across multiple assets seamlessly. So whether the markets are calm or breaking, what matters most is stability, access, and execution under pressure. That's the practical difference compared to having basically 5 different platforms up for different markets. If you want alerts on big macro triggers like this one and trade setups that go with them, hit follow. And if you want a platform built for that multi-asset volatility and global events, check out my link for PU Prime below, because you got to trade smarter, not just harder. That's going to be it from me. Have a fantastic day. I will see you in the next one.